Hello Spud, so it is the day of my next appointment for my psychiatrist. Hopefully it's the last appointment, and so yeah, we're up to, I guess, the next step of finding out what the hell is wrong with me. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who has commented on the video, liked the video, has reached out to me on like private messaging and stuff. Like, some of your stories are amazing and really made me feel less alone, so I would just like to thank all of those. You know who you are, obviously. It really made me feel like I'm not just some crazy person who's making up these symptoms. A lot of you had very similar stories to me. I got Vegemite on my face, don't I? A lot of you guys had very similar stories to me and really made me feel a lot better. A lot of what I'm getting is that the complex PTSD, and ADHD, they have very similar overlapping symptoms, so fantastic. I love that for me. Okay, so one thing I'm worried about is that I'm going to ask about being diagnosed with ADHD, and this doctor is going to be like, you just want the medication. Because, you know, some people abuse medication that is prescribed to people with ADHD. And yes, I do want the medication because I'm pretty sure that it works. Or I want to at least trial it. I don't know what to do about that. Like, I think because I grew up with a lot of drug addicts around me, so I kind of feel like if I'm asking to be put on a drug, that they're gonna think that I'm a drug addict myself. Like, it's just something that's been like embedded into my brain, that if it's like a drug that is like you can sell on the street, that the doctor's gonna automatically think that because I'm asking for it, that I'm gonna want to do that. And I don't know how to make it come across that I'm not going to do that to the doctor, because I've already got it in my head that he's gonna think that that's what I want to do, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to put that, and that's just the first thing that comes in my brain. So then I'm thinking, well, how am I gonna manipulate the conversation so that he thinks that he's brought it up? And that's just the way that my stupid brain's wired. And I'm like, what the fuck, Cheyanne? You need to like just be honest with him and tell him, right? Because I'm seeking treatment for me. If I do end up getting like the right medication and it works, do you know how productive I could be, like, without being distracted all the time? Like, I've seen like a lot of videos where people, they get diagnosed with I'm hiding in my room right now from my children because they keep following me, so that's why I keep looking there, because that's where the door is. What was I saying? Yeah, so I've seen videos of people that have just been diagnosed with ADHD and they took their medication and they like document that. And if that happens to me, I'm definitely going to do that, because those videos are so interesting. And one thing that they say is that they feel like everything's like in order. It's like one thing goes from being like all jumbled up and, you know, ADHD brain, to like thinking clearer and being able to like do things properly. Words, I know what I'm trying to say, but it's just not coming out properly. Anyway, I'm sure that if you've clicked on this video, you may have seen those videos as well, and I crave that. That's what I want. I'm just hoping for an easy fix. I know that that sounds really dumb, because who doesn't want just an easy fix? I would love just to be able to pop a pill and everything will line up and my life will be better. I don't think I'm gonna be that lucky though. So anyway, my appointment is in about 40 minutes time, so I'm going to go and stress about it for 40 minutes, and then I will either film a little bit of the fuck me dead. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh god. It's 10:57 and my appointment is at 11:45, so I'm gonna go and stress out, and I'll either show you a bit of the appointment like I did last time, or I'll just come back and let you know how it goes. okay, I guess. Well, I also went and saw my GP about it as well. This is what I was writing out, and I highlighted all the stuff that's mentioned in the CPTSD, and all the highlighted stuff is all the stuff that I have. made me cry a bit, because I was a bit like, felt terrible. And I saw a lot of like overlap of complex PTSD and like ADHD and stuff, and I wanted to kind of maybe see if it's just like what I can do there, because ADHD seems easier to manage. I don't know, there's a lot of overlap of all different things. Yeah, so she said she can't do much with me until you give me the right medication. And she also wanted me to mention the ADHD to you. Oh, okay. You think I'm gonna abuse it? If there is an easy fix, which is some sort of medication that can help me think clearly and get my day-to-day tasks done, and then also be going to therapy for like the deep-rooted PTSD stuff. I think that if I'm not getting frustrated constantly by, I have to focus on either one thing at a time, or I'm doing 10 things at once and none of it gets done because I keep going from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another, or I'm hyper fixated on one thing and I get really anxious and angry and I forget what I'm doing if I get distracted from that thing. Or I see all the things that I need to do and I just get so overwhelmed by it that I don't do any of it. And then that puts me into the low, because I'm like, I don't know. And it's just, I feel like if I can help that stuff, it'll help me with the other stuff. Like layers, like that's the easy layer, and then it'll get down to the deep-rooted stuff. In school, like, academically, not that great, to be honest. Like I don't see I see it like this, if that's one way to explain it. Like I see all of this and it just overwhelms me, and it's like, have you seen that meme of that woman and she's got like all the equations going around, and it's like that, but with everything that I ever need to do. I know I'm not making sense. I can tell. I'm sorry. I can't vocalize. This is what I was afraid of, and I was worried because my family are drug addicts, that you'd put me in that same boat, and you have. So that makes me feel shit. But I'm an open book, mate. I'm honest. I can't not be. Like, I have to be honest. I sleep with 2 children in my bed, so there's no chance of that happening. I don't have much of a libido anyway. It takes a lot for me to, I don't even know how I ended up having 2 children, to be honest. Okay. And I'm crying again. He won't diagnose me for ADHD, even if it is something that I've got. He wouldn't even talk about it because I apparently am addicted to alcohol. And he thinks I've got an addictive personality, so he thinks that I'm gonna abuse it. Which is exactly what I was worried about. He's also prescribed me another drug. It's a mood stabilizer called Lamictal. Don't know much about that. Apparently it can give you a really bad rash and people can die from it. That's like worst case scenario. He said he just has to tell me about that because it can happen, and it's called Stevens-Johnson syndrome or something like that. So yeah, I look like a mess. Like, that's a pimple, that's a cold sore. I knew that he would think that I was a drug addict by asking for something to help me, and he did. And I just feel so stupid. So I was really nervous about asking him for help
for that reason. And I'm not the one that's addicted to things. Like, if it was someone else, they would definitely abuse it. But I just wanted help. And I feel like I was like bargaining with him. Like, he said that in 3 weeks' time I'll have an appointment with him to talk about this drug and stuff like that. And so there's more money. I really wanted this to be the last one, but as soon as I mentioned ADHD, it's like he shut off. He was like, I'm not even gonna talk about that. And then, not directly, but he said, my problem with that is that the medication for ADHD is a stimulant and you've got a history of addiction. So that kind of like, to me, now I'm all snotty and gross, fantastic, can't wait for the whole world to see that. For me, that says, you're going to abuse it. And I said that to him. I said, do you think I'm going to abuse the drug? Like, I'm not. I just want help. And from what I'm seeing, like, this could help. And I told him the whole, like, how it affects my day-to-day. And if I, you know, what I said in my last video about if I could just fix the immediate thing, that's the easiest thing to treat, it would help more with the deep-rooted stuff. But I was so focused on the fact that he's pretty much said no, that I stuffed up all the wording, and it made me sound like I was like begging him for drugs, and it makes me feel like I'm some sort of a freaking drug fiend and he doesn't trust me or something. I don't know. I'm not going to abuse it, especially if I need it. Anyway, so that's that. That was... Again, we don't have the outcome that we were hoping for. Okay, so anyway, another thing he has also said was to get behaviour therapy. It's called DBT, behaviour therapy. He thinks I should look into that. I'm gonna try that, I guess. I feel really let down, really judged, and exactly what I thought would happen. Okay, cool. I better get on with my day now. And once again, I start to feel better after I talk to someone about what I'm upset about. And I think that should be the #1 treatment for anything. I was just speaking to Brendan about what I was just saying in the earlier clip about how he thinks that I'm gonna abuse the drug or whatever. But he made a very interesting anecdote. Like, he's a teacher, right? And say, in his case, if a kid needs a lift home from school, it's totally safe to do so. 99.999% of the time, it might just be just that, just a lift home. But that 0.1%, the student makes something up and he gets investigated for it, where it probably won't happen, but there is a chance that it will happen, and therefore he has to protect himself by not just saying no to giving the child a lift. So that relates to my doctor, like, based on what he's got on paper about me. Yes, I've struggled with addiction previously, so there is a very slight chance that I might abuse the drug. And in that case, like, what if I do and then something happens and he's getting investigated for something? You know, he's got to cover his own ass. And whether that is true or not, I'm gonna just go by that, because it just makes me feel better to think that my doctor doesn't think that I'm a drug fiend, because I really don't want to be seen like that. That's how I'm going to think about it, is that he's just covering his own ass. And it's understandable. Like, he's met me twice, and what he's seen of me is this, like, shaved head friggin' freak. And I look like a friggin' junkie too with this and this, but anyway. So, whoo! there we go. I guess that's it for this video, because there's not really much else I have to do. Like, I guess my next stage would be getting the medication and seeing what happens. I'm going to be on 2 different antipsychotics, 1 antidepressant and 1 other mood stabilizer that I got prescribed that can potentially give me a rash and kill me, but he won't give me a stimulant that could potentially help me. Anyway, I thought I would just make that little observation. I don't know what this whole big mixture of medication is going to do for my brain. What? That's so much different medications that I'm going to be on. I really hope it doesn't mess me around. But if it does, I'll be sure to have a camera handy. If you watched this far, thank you, and leave a comment, please, saying that you made it this far, because I guess some people would turn off as soon as they saw the crying. I don't know. If you're enjoying this, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm probably going to be documenting this whole whatever's going on in my brain for a while. I will have other videos out as well, though. It's not just going to be mental health stuff, so stick around for that if the mental health stuff isn't for you. I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys really soon. See ya!